Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you can all hear me okay. I was just about to go live, and I usually rinse my glasses and then I shake them, and then I get the water droplets out of it. But this time, when I shook it, it just separated the wire that connects the two sides. Boom, gone. So this is my old one. Luckily, I had kept it gladly. So here we are, and I gotta now. All right, sorry about that. So we've got a bunch of questions. It's an old prescription, but pretty close, so it'll do. So Aman, the girl that used to show interest in you, but you were not interested, found a boyfriend, and now lately you've been talking to her, and she shows interest again, and you asked her for a movie, and she quickly accepted. Why are you so focused on because she's showing interest, you're not interested? Because she quickly accepted, you're now wondering. And now you're questioning what if her boyfriend knows or not? Are you nuts? Do you really think if she has a boyfriend, she would actually say okay to go to a movie if it was a serious relationship, or if she wanted to continue with him, or if she was interested to go out to a movie with you, she was going to actually tell her boyfriend. So the easiest thing is this, and you say you feel you don't want to do that, steal somebody's girlfriend. It's not your decision; it's her decision, and I appreciate um, your sense of responsibility not to do that, but to make yourself comfortable. Always, as a habit, you ask a girl, "Are you in a relationship?" Before you ask them out. Now that you have already asked her out and she said yes, it pretty much means she's not really that serious. But to be sure and to make it comfortable for now and the future, and you're conscious, and so you just simply ask her, are you still in a relationship? Or are you in a relationship? And then if she says no, then don't probe her like, are you sure? But who's that? Don't. It's her decision. And maybe she wants to separate. Maybe she has already. Maybe she plans to tell the guy if she's still with him at some other point. Your responsibility is to ask her if she's still in relationship. And if the answer is no, then you've got no other reason to probe it. Leave it up to her. It's her decision, is her challenge, and her own way of dealing with it, and that's the end of it. But you do, as a habit, should be asking a girl first, are you in a relationship? Just that's the way we all should do. So we don't interfere with other people's lives, but at the same time, um, she would refuse if she was, in a relationship perhaps, or didn't want to, um, you know, uh, advance to a different opportunity. But I would prefer, like I always do, if I like a girl and I see she's interested in me, and before I go any further than, a few discussions here and there, when it gets a little bit of a hint of romanticism, I ask her, or when it becomes a little bit more, I ask her. And then you're free to go as far as your conscience is clear. And And in regards to Abbott Poluk, 24, male, Bangladesh. Hello, Abbott. Abbott says, I managed the treatment procedure of 60 homeless patients. There are plenty sick homeless people in our country. I can't help them beyond my resources and capabilities. I feel so sad and guilty. You can feel sad, that's okay. You cannot feel guilty because the ones who actually know about it and can do something and are not doing, choosing not to do it, they could feel guilty. You have nothing to feel guilty about. I used to get very, very sad and feel responsible and helpless, frustrated when I would follow the situation of different countries and atrocities that was being done to different nations by different nations, bullies and um, unkind and savage activities that one nation would have on the other because they were militarily stronger than the other. I used to get very frustrated when I would follow the events of life, of the world, and knew what is happening to innocent people, and the justice was not being served, and United Nations would look the other way and nothing. It was really taking a toll on me. And by nature, I was very caring and sensitive about people's lives and the quality of their lives, safety, and so on. Women, children, older people, younger people, opportunity to live and build and be free and safe, not being bullied or not being killed. Then eventually, it was draining me seriously. Eventually, I came to a conclusion that my nature is being a protector. My nature is being someone who cares about other people's well being. But if I'm not given the power to change things, remedy things, save people, if I don't have that power, if I don't have the authority to change things, I can't have the responsibility. I can be sad, but I cannot feel frustrated or guilty or feel the responsibility of it on my shoulder because I'm not given the authority and the power to do something about it. If I don't have the power to fix it, I can't be responsible for it in these sort of situations that we're talking about. So you can observe, you can do whatever you can if it's possible for you to do so, but you cannot feel guilty whatsoever. We are not gods. We are human beings, and our capacity is not as what a god's capacity would be. So, expecting from yourself that kind of a reaction or that kind of a responsibility and power and duty, it's unreasonable and unrealistic. That is somewhat borderline egoistic because you're a human being. You don't have any more power than you think you have. So you can only do with whatever you have. So the fact that you've helped that many people, it's a feather in your cap. It's an unfortunate world. They've lost their ways. The countries, the governments, that they think they own the world and they're supposed to be dominating people rather than working for them to what's best for them with their own consent and consultation. Not that their government now they decide in all aspects of life and how we should live and where to go, what to do, what to eat, who to meet. That's nonsense. And the rest of it, what they're doing to the world and destroying and always finding some kind of a justification for it. Seb2311 says, how do you deal with setbacks? Because recently I've been doing better, but often get setbacks in HOCD. Well, what's the problem with setback? With the core of the thing that you've understood and you've been managing, as you said, you've been doing good because you understood that this is a fictitious and it's a malfunction in the signaling system of the brain. It's got nothing to do with your gender. It's got no changes going to be happening to you magically. You have understood, studied, and realized that this is a malfunction. This is a disorder. So you dealt with it on this basis, on the premise of education, knowing the researchers, psychologists' research, and Dr. Schwartz's work, Dr. Philipson's work, Dr. Jan Wayner's work, Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owen, Dr. Leibet, all their experiences in neuroscience and neurosurgery in the laboratory has shown to you beyond the shadow of the doubt and philosophical point of views of since Aristotle time 1,000 years ago till the modern time, until the modern science has proven all those discussions that you're not the brain and brain is not you and it malfunctions, and they've proven it. So on that basis you manage it. So setback is the same as the beginning, which means both are manageable the same way you managed this first time. You manage it already, so you know, based on your knowledge, this whole thing is a bullshit. But the brain cannot understand because brain lives in virtual world, and the thought, which is the base of all its understanding, when it hits it and it has a glitch to stay on that thought and believe that thought, which is a problem. Thoughts are dime a dozen, 80, 90,000 thoughts a day comes in. A problem starts when you believe the thought, which is a glitch in the brain that allows a thought to turn into a belief. Just like many people believe in many things without any evidence of any sort, it just becomes a belief. You know, for example, religiosity OCD is when you believe anything to do with believing something has pretty much to do with the neurotransmitters, certain neurotransmitters, the real estate of the brain, the neurons, and the part of the brain that is involved, plus the gene called VMAT2, VMAT2 gene, plus all the other components which I mentioned, the neurotransmitters and the real estate of the brain, where it's involved um, in that action, in that reaction, in that um, um, process, causes a belief to take place. Now, I don't understand, I don't know, I don't have enough knowledge on how that gene suddenly allows and helps for something to become believable without any evidence and sticks into your mind, into your brain. But nevertheless, this whole business is about believing a thought. Once we educate ourselves or understand how not to allow a thought on its own become a belief, in other words, we have a certain logic and understanding and prerequisites for belief to take shape, not that just because there's a gene active and the rest of the neurotransmitters and suddenly something becomes a belief. That's when we become delusional because we're believing everything that is out there because of the malfunction or the glitch, even though there is no evidence for it. Think about many things that we believed and later on found out it wasn't right. For example, for some people, maybe for some people it's the other way around, but for some people, this whole COVID business, they believed it. They believed it wholeheartedly to the point that they went and got the shots. Later on, now, 3 years later, science have come out, says, God damn it, that thing was hazardous. You shouldn't have had it. They believed. That's why they did it. But why did they believe? Fear element, the authorities who forced it on them, they were conditioned to believe authorities. The many things were involved to trigger that whole premise to allow a thought or an idea, a suggestion that was being uttered to them to turn into belief. But later on, today was vaccine. Other times in life have been many other things. Some people used to, in the old times, thousands and thousands of years ago, people used to believe a piece of rock or statue that they, on their own, made it by hand in their basement was their god. And they sacrificed for that piece of shit that they built with their own hand as if it really was a god that had powers that it could help harvest and help healing, all that bullshit. But why? Because they believed it. No evidence. They believed it. That believing is the problem. In HOCD is the same. There's no evidence, but because the brain has the power to manipulate and affect and make the body react physically to something, then that physical reaction of the body, based on the power of the brain that has such power to make the body react, suddenly that physical reaction becomes an evidence for the person to think that the thought and the feelings were correct because I have a reaction physically in the actual physical world. Instead of understanding that the brain has the power to make the body react, but just because it has the power to make the body react, that does not mean that that suggestion was actually true or fact. Very simple. Just let me get this little ant on my screen out of the way. It's driving me nuts. So, for example, you can, as many times I've mentioned, imagine you're in France with a tour, and the tour guide has taken you to vineyard. It's out of season. All the grapes are green and sour like God knows what, like acid, sour. So he gave a cluster of grapes, green grapes, to everybody, and everybody puts in their mouth. Oh God, it just drops so much saliva and so sour. And then he backs it up with the lime, the cuts the lime to give it to everybody. Everybody squeezes it in their mouth. And Jesus, all these saliva is secreted because it's so sour. Now, if you notice, if you really focus, right now you have saliva in your mouth. But there is no green grape. There is no lime. None of them is real. It's just a thought. Hmm? And just because your body reacted and created saliva, that doesn't mean that there is actually lime and the green grapes, does it? No. But the brain has the power, turns the words into something that the body reacts to those words. It has that power. But that power and creating that reaction does not make what the suggestion or thought was to be a factual thing. This is the same as HOCD. It has the power to make the body react because it associates it with sex and this and that and makes a reaction. That's what body does. Body doesn't know what is being reacted. You can react a physical, sensual reaction to a horse's butt or something soft, a nice satin pillow. You rub it against yourself, you get aroused. So what does that mean? You're pilosexual or you're horsesexual. No, these are all connotations and associations that the brain makes in association to actual sex that your body is programmed to have. But none of them is any justification or evidence for the fact that you actually are interested in making love to a pillow or to a horse. So the brain's ability to make body react does not mean that what the suggestion is, in fact, has any merits. So you got to learn how to help the brain to distinguish between these sort of things and the thoughts and suggestions. And even though when it bodily reaction is created, to be able to know that this is what it is. And I'm not supposed to be interpreting as that has to do with my gender. So that same way of thinking will get you again another step forward until eventually all these becomes an automatic process happening in your brain as soon as some kind of a trigger or some kind of suggestion is made in that way. For example, if you focus on the 4 steps of neuroplasticity and rewiring the brain by Dr. Schwartz, which I've already mentioned it many times in the video that I've made for you guys, and explaining that, you can use that and remind yourself, educate yourself about that 4 steps, and use that 4 steps to rewire yourself, rewire the brain in such matters. 4 steps. Dr. Schwartz. There's the video for it that I have explained what Dr. Schwartz has explained in his own video. And so you can benefit from it. Here's a link to that video. Just one moment, guys. All right. Sab, I hope that was helpful to you. Shelby is here, says 15 male Poland. Says, can you discover you are bi through HCC? No, just again, you're going somewhere using some kind of a glitch and buying into all the other suggestions out there instead of learning about the glitch and how to rewire yourself, and then you're putting a label on it, and therefore you believe that, and on that belief you end up being it. Why would you believe something just because a suggestion is made to you, instead of finding out that the reason that there's such suggestions in your brain because there's a malfunction in the signaling system of the brain, and then find out how to deal with it, as we have discussed it many times here, Shelby. Abid says, when I am doing my studies and other works, I feel like I should go on the streets and help those sick, unattended patients, but I can't. It makes me so sad. Why? I feel this sad. Is it for OCD? No. It's because you think there is a watcher, or whatever you want to call it, God. Some people call it God. Some people, whatever power they think of it. But in fact, it's your own thoughts that is watching the other thoughts. It's your awareness watching, and then you want to impress your awareness, which you in your mind might be your God, that you want to show what a good person you are. Because somehow you're trying so hard to prove or live up to your own expectation that you're such a good, upstanding person, that you're a good human being. And from that position of being a good human being and trying to prove that by your actions, you expect favors from God. In other words, while you're a good person, you actually care about people. At the same time, you want it to be recognized by the watcher. And then you want to get favors and assurances, psychological security for your journey in this life. So nothing bad will happen to you or to your parents. You may have an OCD of trying to protect your parents and your loved ones and the life that you love so much by doing so many good things, so the watcher will see you, give you credit, and therefore protect you for the rest of your life. So you have good intention, at the same time you have selfish intentions trying to protect yourself. So once you just believe that I can only do as much as I can, and I still have to live my own life, and I still have to be responsible for my own protection and well-being and my loved ones, And there is no accountability. I cannot um, guarantee that for anybody. I can just do what I can. Then you will ease up on trying to barter with some watcher, some power that I'll do these. I'm so nice. You see, I'm so wonderful person. So please protect my loved ones and don't take them away. And you, in other words, you're being held hostage for your own desires for psychological security and safety. So you're doing a deal. I give this in the name of I'm a good person, but you understand that I'm a good person, so protect me and my loved ones. That's a kind of a barter you're doing unconsciously. So stop thinking that this will result. It's like an obsession you have created. And the compulsion of it would be to attend and to do all these things so you will feel the dopamine is secreted. Ah, so now my God, my watcher has seen me do all these good things for other people. So it will protect me and my loved ones. So now I can say, I'm protected. And the dopamine is secreted. And every time it does that, you become addicted to the dopamine and you feel you got to keep doing it in order to keep the God or the watcher convinced that you're a good person to protect you and your loved ones. And eventually, as every time you're doing it, you're stimulating the habit center, which is right in the striatum where goal finding center is, and then reward center is, and then at the same time stimulates the habit center. And then it becomes your habit. And before you know it, you're just doing it, not even remembering why you're doing it. So you need to come to terms with these and stop giving homage. Stop being held hostage to your own thoughts and desire for psychological security. And instead, live your life, do your best, but don't have to pay a ransom in order to barter for safety and security of your loved ones. It's just no different than touching the light switch 50 million times off and on, because you think if I do it 20 times, then everything is balanced and some power will arrange some fictitious, some magic way that my parents will be safe and healthy. These are all mental things. Just do according to. It's like you only have, let's say, $1,000, and you think you got to spend $5,000 just to make sure everything is okay. You can't. You don't have that resources. So same thing. You can only attend to so many people, and that's all you can do if you want to do, and if it's uh, possible for you to do. But thinking that I got to handle everybody before I'm considered a good person, that puts a toll on you, and you can't do it anyhow. You can't spend more than what you have in energy, in efforts, in money, and everything else. Anyhow, hope that will help you out. Layla Malik Muhammad, that's a Persian name. Says, hello, good day. Layla is here from Iran. Oh my goodness, from Iran. How could you get in? And so proud of you. Thank you, my dear. Layla Jan, how can you get into YouTube? I understand it's very difficult to join YouTube. I guess there's something called uh, filters and things like that. You're probably using that stuff, right? Well, anyhow, welcome. Delighted to see you here. I hope you've subscribed to my channel. And you all know that I have a site called mindthatseekstruth.com. www.mindthatseekstruth.com. And on that site, you can go and either take a look at the sample of my books, a little sample chapter, or make an appointment with me to talk to me about your concerns and your issues. So we'll have a one-on-one on Skype in regards to what's concerning you. There is the link. And we have Percival. Percival, okay. So, sir, is it possible to feel false attraction without feeling anxious? Absolutely. Absolutely. Why not? I mean, you don't have to hate or be anxious or suffer to be proven that you're not having any gender change. It's not, it's not the hate that makes you to be sure that no, I am who I am. I'm not changing. No, you're not changing. These are malfunction in the brain. You got to understand that from in OCD in general, and then leads to many other types of OCD. There's amygdala that is responsible to send emotional danger signals. Like, for example, when there was dinosaurs coming after you a long time ago, then the amygdala, if you would hear it tweak in the jungle, you wouldn't wait to see what it is. Is it a dinosaur? Is it something fierce, fearful that is going to attack me? No, you would just get the signal that they heard something. Amygdala interprets it to a danger at that particular environment and moment, and you run. You're not waiting to see what it was. The same thing's happening now. It's sending you fictional, false, emotional danger signals. And you don't have time, or you don't want to wait to look for evidence, just like you wouldn't wait a million years ago to see if there's an actual dinosaur at your tail or not before you run. You would just run because you got a signal from amygdala that there's a danger coming. But amygdala makes mistakes, malfunctions, and overreacts and sends signals that are not there. Sends emotional danger signals which doesn't exist. And then, but you still, your body takes that order and reacts to it. And now that you have reacted while you're running, you actually believe there must be a dinosaur because I'm running. If there wasn't, I wouldn't be running. That's all is self evidence to you that there is something real. No. So when HOCD signals, for example, you get such an alert by the amygdala about something that you should be protecting yourself, but it's overdoing it, and you interpret it as, oh my goodness, that thought with the signal, that must mean that I am actually changing to something. These are all self interpretations, not factual. So if you rely on that, the fact that these are all mistaken interpretations because these are based on the fears that you have, things that you don't want, and that's what the amygdala is alerting you, and you're always worried about things that you don't want, and those things are the ones that are interpreted in your brain as a thought, and then you freak out. That's why the education about it will help you to not to freak out and understand these are just false signals. And in midbrain basal ganglia, there is a lever called caudate nucleus that is designed to shut down the intrusive thoughts. When it malfunctions, it doesn't do its job. So intrusive nonsense thoughts show up, and caudate nucleus, since it knows it's not in line with your values, it's supposed to shut it out. It doesn't. When it doesn't shut it off, which is not working, it's malfunctioning, the idea and the thought is hovering and doesn't disappear. When it doesn't disappear, you conclude it must mean something, because if it wasn't true, it would disappear. No, it's not disappearing not because it's true, it's because you're malfunctioning on your caudate nucleus is not working. It's like automatic cars. When you're putting on the gas, it goes automatically changes gear. But when it's not working, it doesn't change gear. So when it doesn't change gear, you're not supposed to say, oh, it's supposed to be sounding like this. No, it's a mistake. So it just goes, doesn't change gear. It doesn't mean that it's a correct gear. It just means there's a malfunction in the automatic behavior and the program to shut down and change the gear. So in that way, you're supposed to actually grab onto the manual gear shift gearbox and put it in the gear. Same thing, when we malfunction in our brain and the signals don't come in, caudate nucleus is not working to shut down the intrusive thoughts, you're supposed to rewire and teach the brain how to relearn it and start getting back to the default setting. And these are why I put the 4 steps of Dr. Schwartz there, so you can read it and understand it, watch the video, and then you know how to deal with OCD thinkings and including HOCD and whatnot, and then rewire and reprogram your brain through neuroplasticity. All right. So let's go to the end and say hello to some of the people who came late. Maddie Cole says, hi, just wanted to say I love your channel. It's helped me a lot when I had HOCD, and now I'm making my own videos on it. Good for you, which I never thought would be possible. Great. Where is your channel? Is that Maddie Cole? Is that the name of the channel? I'll check it out. Proud of you. Good for you. Thank you for sharing that. And now we go to Alexander Orid. Says, hi, Meran. How are you? Alex, male 34, which is the best and simple way to make brain focus, or how to be mindful what's happening in your body? Well, simply you have the ability to look at what's happening from the outside. So in other words, your awareness is not your thoughts. Your awareness is what judges your thoughts, if it's useful or not, if it's in line with your values or not. If it is, I keep it, I use it, I see where I can use it. If it's not, I let it die by the wayside. In other words, I don't pay attention. I do the 4 steps of Dr. Schwartz and I refocus to something else. Relabel, and then eventually to refocus, which the brain then revalues it. Relabel, reframe, refocus, revalue. And then it's all explained in that video how it all works out. So we go back to where we were. I just wanted to see how many people and who are they. We answered Percival. Percival, you can make an appointment with me on Skype and we'll discuss it one-on-one on Skype, because these sort of things needs elaborations and interaction in real time. So it will become a consultation, a private consultation, when I go too deep in answering questions, which is needs lots of discussions and explanations. So we can talk about that certainly, and I'll help you to understand it. Abid Pollock says, okay, I've done that. Aman says, Paul McCartney is 82, but he dresses like a young guy and have young people energy like 20-year-old. How to be like that? You don't need to be like that. You're just 20 years old yourself, so you don't need to be like Paul McCartney at 82 trying to be 20. Why don't you just be 20? Why do you want to identify as 82 and then believe you're 20? What the hell is wrong with you guys? You don't have to identify with anything. Just be who you are. Like 20 years, okay. Says, how do we like that? I fear when I become old guy by head when I'll be old. I mean, I know early Q. Okay. You're just thinking about something that doesn't exist. Enjoy your life right now. You don't need to worry about when you're 82. Just worry about when you're 20. And Andre says, male 18, Czech Republic. Says, hi, Meran. 7 days ago, you answered my question, and thank you. very much for your advice. You're quite welcome. Andre says, do you think that if a girl who lives with her mother and has a bad relationship with her father, who is divorced from her mother, and thus she sees her mother as the head of the family, that she herself is more likely to get divorced in the future, have trouble trusting and being faithful to men, and have trouble establishing long-term relationship and marriage. Well, this is just like Andre, this is just like you saying, do you think a girl whose mother and father are together and lived together for a long time, and the father was the head of the family, and the traditional role of man and woman was observed, and they never got divorced, do you think that woman would be able to trust men and be a good woman and good wife, and then have a great life with her husband without deviating from it, or wanting to run away from another man or so? There is no such accountability. You can't just say because the parents are together and faithful to each other and they have the traditional roles, then the girl, their daughter, would also have the same. That's a guaranteed. The same way you can't say just because they're divorced and they're doing what the best they can, the mother is heading the family because there's nobody else to do it, and she obviously is good at it, so she's doing it. So why is that supposed to mean that the girl is going to be someone who doesn't understand the intricacies of relationship, and that she's going to be a overbearing feminist, not feminist in the good way of its meaning? We are all for feminism as far as the feminism supposed to mean equal opportunities, and to be able to have all the rights that everybody else has, and to be able to accomplish anything that you put your mind to it, and all being equal. That's that's a good feminism. But the ones who think about they have no place for men, men are good for nothing, and that they can do anything that men can do, that's utter bullshit, because women cannot do everything that men can do, because we protect women. We go to wars. We die for them. We provide for them. We go hunting for them. We build structures. We build roads. We build railroads. When there's an earthquake, we go to help rescue. We do all the dangers. We do all the plumbings of the towns. We do all the difficult things. So we have a place in this world. So the women who start talking nonsense like this, that means they don't have any value for how important the woman is. Because by putting the men down doesn't make you valuable. Women are valuable by nature. We love them. We worship them. We want to protect them. The universe cannot go on without women. They have a very special and important place in this world. And instead of understanding themselves and respecting themselves, how special they are. They're the center of the family, center of everything that motivates a man to do. Instead, they want to bash men and say they can do anything that we can do. They can't. We're two different energies. There's so many things that women can do we cannot do, no matter what we think of ourselves. We're stupid if we think that way. And the women who think that way, they call that feminism. That's betrayal to humanity and to the camaraderie, to harmony between man and woman. They're destroying this world by trying to portray and fool themselves that they are just capable in everything as men are. No, we're all capable in different things. Women are doctors and lawyers and scientists and researchers and so on, and many of them are better than the men. And men are scientists and doctors and cooks and so on, and many of them are better than the woman. It has nothing to do with the judgment that the feminism puts into the place, and it's all nonsense. By degrading men, they think they can elevate themselves. No, why don't you elevate yourself, as I'm sure you can, by your speciality, how amazing women are. If you don't respect yourself, you can't gain respect by just putting the men down and you think, oh, that's the way I can become valuable. No, that means you're stupid. That's what I'm thinking about it. That's my vote. Oh my goodness, we have a super chat. That's unheard of. We don't get super chat. Once in a while, we out of the blue. Majid Buluri is here. Majid says, Salam Mehranjan. Thank you for your help. Your guidance has helped me meet the girl of my dreams. Oh my goodness. That's wonderful. Now engaged for 1 year. Oh, very good. Do you remember? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You're still going to the gym, I hope. So I'm invited to the wedding. All right. All right. Now, Maddie says, what a lovely message. So true. Masculine and feminine are so complementary to each other. Yes, they are, Maddie. I believe that. I mean, we men, we adore women. We cannot do anything without women, and we do everything because of women. So the women who actually think by putting us down, they're elevating themselves. In fact, no, by putting us down, they become lower because we're the one who are trying and dying to keep them high. And if you knock us down, we can't hold you high. You'll be down on the ground just as you tried to put us down there. That's the way I think. And I feel the women have lost respect for men, not because men are so bad or worse than it was years ago, because the politicians are using women. They consider women stupid, which is very disrespectful, in my opinion. And they're trying to prey on them to get votes. They talk bullshit and nonsense just to give some big head to some stupid woman to create this bullshit definition of feminism to the extreme level that destroyed family units, that destroyed the romance, that destroyed all the chivalries, they destroyed everything that was beautiful about man and woman's relationship and that speciality of treatment for women. Nowadays, honestly, how many chivalries and respect do you see is extended to women every day? It's not like 100 years ago. When a woman would walk by, I remember when we were in school, just because it was a girl walking by, just because it was a mother or a woman walking by, when we were just doing trash talk with us, with each other, the boys, as soon as a woman would about meters away, we shut down. Why? There's a woman walking by. That's a respect to utter properly and be on your best behavior. They took all that away. None of it is there. Let her go first. She's special. Open the door for her. She's special. None of that shit anymore. That is a sign of disaster moving in. Hmm. And Majid sends us another another super chat. Says Meranjan, when do you come live these days? Usually I come live on Saturdays at 1 o'clock. Yesterday I came live, it was a Friday, at 11 a.m. and we had more people somehow because it hits India at a better time so they can join. And Europe was also able to join. And North America was. So I may be able to maybe depends on when I wake up because usually I go to the gym late. Like last night, I came back at 12 o'clock and I do heavier workout these days. So by the time I get home and it's late, it takes me a few hours, just prepare something to eat, the nutrition values that I need, and then want to do some work and then want to do some maybe videos or some editing or some TikTok. I do lots of political stuff on TikTok. And then maybe relax, watch a movie. Before I know it's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So usually I won't be able to be so bright and bushy tail in the morning, early morning. But I'm trying to change that because when I have a session early morning, more people can join us. We used to have lots of people, and nowadays we only have like today we have 17. I expected this channel to have like 1,000 or 2,000 participants in the live stream, but I don't know why we are still uh, invisible. Aman says, "Do you speak Urdu, Mehran?" No, I don't. Urdu comes from the Dari Farsi, so there are some words that are shared, but otherwise, I don't speak the language. Majid is going to actually help the channel to buy lots of teas because he just sent us another super chat. And he says, "Fantastic, looking forward to joining. Plus, I would love you to come to the wedding if you're willing to come to London or Iran." You know, I haven't seen Iran for 43 years since I left in 1979. I was only 24 years old, and I haven't seen Iran yet again. And traveling and all that would have been fine. I would have loved to come to your wedding, but I'm not vaccinated. So, and I won't be vaccinated till death do me part. So, therefore, I don't think I can get, if I could fly, gee, I would be in Hawaii because I haven't gone anywhere for 3 years and I'm dying to see my adopted native land. I love Hawaii and I can't go there. For a long time, we couldn't even go from one end of Canada to the other end because this idiot prime minister had mandated that nobody can fly if you're not vaccinated. Now we can after so much pressure on this guy, but still, this country is going toward communism because of this idiot and another guy who is a minority leader of some other party, NDP party. So we're in trouble in this country for now until we get some decent government. Rich Ricardo Lee, am I butchering your name? Lee. Sorry about that. Ricardo says, "I'm a newcomer to your channel. Very much appreciate your thoughts and your perspective around separation and moving forward. My pleasure. Delighted that you shared that with me. I appreciate it. And welcome to the channel. Welcome to my lair," as Dr. Evil would say. So, who else? And Abid says, "I will have a one on one appointment with you, sir. The statement you delivered about my guilty feeling is not correct and didn't match. It's it's just for the suffering of people I can't take. Wish me luck." Yeah, I know what you're saying. As I said, I don't have enough information to make a real accurate suggestion to you. But from what are out there, these are some of the reasons that people may not even notice that they're doing that. They may have it wrapped in a wonderful packaging of "I care about people," which definitely you do, because I know what you're saying. I had the same pain until the point that I realized I am suffering for something that I cannot help it. It's other people's um, doing, other governments who are actually abusing other people in other nations. And I'm suffering because of the injustice and unsafe environments for those poor people, those innocent people. So I understand what you're going through. However, in many cases, that has been the actual reason. But in your case, obviously, it's not. But you got to learn that you are a human being. Expecting more than you can offer out of yourself is egoistic, unreasonable, and unrealistic. So you got to face the reality. You're a human being. Your capacity to feel sorrow is one thing, but why so much of sorrow you want to take? Because you think it would be a bad person who wouldn't feel all the sorrows that are out there. You got to come to understanding that that doesn't make you bad if you cannot take. It's like saying there's so much load that I have to take from the truck to that place, and I have to feel sad that I can't take it all. Well, you're a one person. You're not supposed to take 5 ton of merchandise. You can only take maybe 10 traveling time of maximum 40 kilo each time. That's understandable. But to consider that I have to take the whole 10 trucks that are standing here, and if I don't, I have to feel guilty about it, that's unreasonable. And that's what you're doing. You got to give yourself a capacity that I understand there's so much sorrow, because the sorrow doesn't end. Even if you take care of all the people in your street and in the environment, in the area that you live in, still there are other people around the world that are dying and suffering. What about them? You can't limit your feeling of guilt or helplessness to want to help other people just limited to that city that you're living in. There are other people miserable all around the world. So what about them? Somehow you got to stop it to separate yourself from the other sufferings that you cannot help. Otherwise, you can't breathe, you can't survive, you can't live, you can't see happiness, you can't smile, because you say, oh, how can I smile when other people are suffering? You will end up becoming a crazy person, unrealistic. So you need to understand, okay, I feel for them, but I don't need to constantly think about them because I can't do anything about them. Whatever I can, I do. And after that, I have the right to live. And I'm not God to be responsible for all of them or think about all of them. And I'm not Jesus Christ. So whatever it is that you can attribute to this understanding. Therefore, put a limit to it and go on with your life. Still be happy, still enjoy your life, and focus on building your own life as you see fit. All right. Now, yeah, Seb, I did answer your question already in detail. So if you rewind, once this is uploaded again, you can watch it and you will find the answer. Princeton says, my favorite soup kitchen is open. Hi, Maran. Missed your live talk yesterday. How is it going over here, over there? Well, it's been a rough week. As you all know, I've been dealing with passing of my brother, and more concerned and worried about my mother because she loved him very much, uh, so very much. So she's crying all the time. And so that has been on my mind. And so, but hopefully, I call my mother several times a day since I cannot go see her in the care center since no vaccinated people can go in. That's the president of this damn prime minister. So that's on my mind. So I'm trying to hire a psychotherapist or psychologist to go and visit mom in the care center to talk, because I can do that for my clients, but I'm not there. And on the phone, we can do so much. But it's always different when it comes from, a stranger specialist than your own son, because you still look at him as your child. But we talk a lot, and mom says that she feels better when we talk. And she says, you're the only one that when I talk, I don't cry. Otherwise, I'm always crying. I understand that. We share things about the university time and the memories with my brother. I talk with mom about it and I make her laugh and things like that. And so it's a balanced discussions, and she feels better afterwards. But, you know, these are the concerns that I have for her. It's very difficult, very difficult. Nothing is worse than losing your child um, when you yourself are still here. It's very, very hard. So thank you for asking, Princeton. And Maddie Cole says, yes, it is. Thank you. Yes, it is. I guess I lost what did oh, yeah. Okay, the videos. Yeah, yeah. I gotta remember to check your channel. It's probably called. That's what you're saying. Yes, it is. I mean, it's called Maddie Cole. I'll make sure I check it out. You guys can check it out too and see what you think about Maddie's work. Um, okay. So let's see where we go from here. Did I miss anyone? If I missed your question, please let me know because I jumped around a little bit just to see if I can just attend to the other questions as well. Ricardo says my recent ex broke up with me a couple of weeks. My recent ex broke up with me. Okay, I guess you want to say your girlfriend broke up with you recently because she wasn't your ex before she broke up with you. A couple of weeks ago, after we found out she was pregnant. Oh, okay. We have been trying for a baby, but I'm thinking she got very scared of losing her independence and autonomy. Okay. And how old are you? You said here? Do I know your age? Did you, Ricardo? Can you kindly let me know your age and where you're tuning in from? From where? Which city? That's part of the things that we always ask. So while I read your questions, please include your age and which country or city you're calling from. And he says, I felt a lot of heartbreak and anxiety over what we were going to do, but we're still gung ho about moving forward with the pregnancy. I expected the relationship was over, but what? But she had a miscarriage last week. And she interestingly, and she, what? And the interesting thing I want to share is that all my anxiety and heartbreak went away and was replaced by grief around the loss of that child. Yes, of course. So interesting how my feelings changed from 1 minute to the next, still working through it, but moving on per your suggestion. Moving on per okay, good. My question is above. Oh, that's Aman. Ricardo is 55. Okay, all right, got it. Oklahoma, California. Oakland, California. Okay, all right. Thank you for that, Ricardo. Yeah. Well, I think you've given it a little bit more development time than actually, like you, in your imagination, you saw that child as a symbol of your relationship that has become a person, and you elevated it more than the stage that it was. You bonded with it after it was aborted, in your mind by giving it value and giving it a story, giving it longevity, and imagining that you had a life, it grew up and it was your child, and so on. That's what makes you so vulnerable right now and feeling so sad, because you gave something that you imagined something with that uh, unborn baby, something that wasn't really there, but you created that in a second, your mind, as your child and your wife together. We had a family now. You just created that image, and then you worked for them and you provided, and all of that. Suddenly, you create a story, an image, and now you are feeling that that image, that story that you created because of the child, is no longer there, and you're missing that possibility. Otherwise, you have no really connection with that child yet, because it doesn't exist. There was no real presence, physical presence in your life to experience, to exchange, to interchange, interact. But your imagination created a story out of the possibility of it, and you elaborated on that in your mind in a second, and that is what you're now feeling sad about. But in reality, there has been no such thing. So that could maybe be of some help to you. And Ash has changed the name to Ace. That's good. That's good. That's positive. Good job. Male 34 UK says, my question is, how are you doing, Mara? Thank you very much. I just was talking about it a second ago. Um, all right, guys, it's 1 hour and 13 minutes. So I'll just have a little bit of a tea and see if you guys have any other question. I try to hang around a little bit longer because it's Saturday. Usually we have once. So why don't I give you guys a little station identification and I warm up my tea and be right back. How about that? Is that all right? There we go. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what concerning you. I'll talk to you soon. Well, we too, like the iceberg, have 1,000 times bigger powers that is not visible, and we must. Why? Is it something we're rambling on and I expect you to accept it? Or is there actually another power within us? Would you come and help me out? Okay. What I want you to do is put your hands underneath my arms and just lift me up. There we go. Okay, now, that's my physical part, right? Same thing. Again, with that. Just want to see if there's any difference. Go ahead. Now, go ahead. Now, this, go ahead, when you're ready.
Go ahead.
So you see, this is different than what he was doing, and I'm not really doing anything. You convinced?
Yeah.
So are you guys convinced that there is something other than, thank you.
Yeah, no
Thank you very much. Okay. Now, no more questions. So can I go then? Let's see. Let me check Maddie Cole's channel while I'm waiting for your questions. Maddie Cole. Let me just go and check it out.
So my last video was basically saying how I'm deviating away from HOCD, and then I got so much pushback that I thought I actually do have a couple more things to say that I think are relevant. One of them, I actually did a video draft, I think, and just never posted it. It was about deleting certain apps. Now, one of those apps.
So hang on. Let me first ask Maddie. Maddie, are you okay for me to listen to your intro live here to get permission from you so there would be no copyright problems later on? Say yes or no. Do I have permission to put on live? I mean, just you guys can hear it. Well, I don't hear from Maddie, so maybe I have to uh, delete that part before I upload mine, unless Maddie tells me it's okay. Maddie, are you still there? All right. Okay, I guess I would have to do some editing. I messed up. Okay, so any more question, guys? Come on, hurry up, hurry up. All right. You guys need more time, so I can give you some other entertainment. There we go.
The last word was just total bullshit. I just made it up. But the idea of being here just for a moment, just gonna forget our shit. And it's just good. Are you taping me?
That was the day that my son and I were in some mall and some store, music store, and I just picked up, thought I play, and and he was taping me, and so that was a pleasant memory for me. All right. Actually, Ace says Mayron is a Renaissance man. Thank you. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but come to think of it, I've done lots of things in life, from I don't know, all kinds of things: martial arts, equestrian, tennis, soccer, um, military, revolution, politics. Yeah, it's been a eventful life. Princeton says, classic Meron dons the suit again, very suave, I must say. Says, reminds me of a bit of Zorro. I miss you in the suit. I gotta watch that to remember that part. Ace says what? You've done woman too. Don't forget the wheel. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. No, I won't forget that. That's for sure. I've cherished women. Yeah, not done women. All right, guys. It looks like that you guys are just here for entertainment, and the questions are finished. So it's time for me to say. And we didn't hear back from Maddie. So for the fear of getting copyrighted, I probably will delete that bit just to make sure. All right. This time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here and allowing me to share a thing or two with you. In the meantime, I look forward for the next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.